You're welcome to another edition of Just Getting Started. And boy, have we got something different for you tonight. So it's my pleasure to welcome all the way from sunny Japan. Well, it's 20 past 6 in the morning, but Nick Gallagher, or Nick Gallagher, you're going to tell me how it's pronounced correctly. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Yes. What's up, guys? I'm coming in from Japan, 6:15. My name is Nick Gallagher, and I'm 25 years old, excited to be here. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Yeah, great. I asked that question because here in Ireland we would know it as Gallagher, and
Mm,
but if you move across the water to England or Scotland, it would be known as Gallagher. So there you go. So
right.
you know the Gallagher brothers. Have you heard of Oasis?
Me? Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. The guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard this before. And I'm not very. I don't know much, but yes. Yeah.
So the Gallagher brothers are very famous in this part of the world. They're from Ireland originally, but they went to live in the UK and they formed a band called Oasis. Two brothers,
Yeah.
and they became very very famous over the years. So that's where the Gallagher question
Oh,
comes from.
okay. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned that we had something completely different in store for our listeners tonight, and I'm really excited about this conversation, Nick. So you are seven-time world kendama champion. And
Yes.
yes, folks, I asked the question as well, what the hell is kendama? When I heard it first, I only learned about it a few months ago. So firstly, what is kendama, Nick? And then we're going to go to the backstory a little bit and understand where this all came about. So what is
Yes.
kendama?
Absolutely, Nikki. So, Kendama is a Japanese skill toy. I'm going to show one up to the camera right here, but I'll do my best to describe it as well. So, it's pretty much a wooden skill toy, and there are three balls. There are two pieces. There is a part called the Ken and a part called the Tama. Together, you put them Kendama. Ken is the sword. It means sword, and so here it's something I can hold. It's kind of long. There's three cups, right? We got one, two, three cups, all different sizes, just a little bit, and then a ball right here. It's called the tama is the ball. It has a hole in it right here, and the goal is to connect it to each other. So you can see there is a spike on the can as well, and the goal is to connect the two pieces together, just like that.
So your job is to get the ball connected to any part of the kendama at
Yes,
any
you
given
can do a
time.
bunch of yeah, absolutely. You can do a bunch of different tricks, but I'd say the end goal is to land it on the spike at the end to finish the finish the trick, quote unquote. Yeah.
Okay, so for those of us listening on podcast and can't see what the people on YouTube can see,
Yeah.
is there any other way to describe it? I mean, it's in size. It's about what 6 inches long, is it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something you can hold in your hand. Kind of picture it as we'll just say a very mini water bottle. It's very handy. You can fit it in your pocket. It's extremely portable. It's all attached by a string as well. So let me just say again: there's a Ken, one part, a long piece, a ball. It's called the Tama, and all connected together by a string. And so that's why you can play with this thing and it's not just gonna go flying when you mess up and things like that. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
And what are the origins of the kendama game?
yeah, yeah. So this it goes back a little bit to I'll we'll go back to France, and there is a couple different iterations of the kendama. It wasn't always in this shape, but before this shape there was a lot more simpler versions. For example, it was like one one small little piece here with like a cup. It's like imagine like a cup opening, and then you just try to throw the ball in there. So you're just trying to catch the ball. You catch the ball in the cup, and that was kind
Okay,
of a very 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 old iteration in France. Yeah, there's something called the bilboquet, and we can. It's kind of hard to describe, so maybe we can put some links in the description there for that.
yeah.
But yeah, there's that. There's also an iteration in Mexico. It's called the bolero, and that's the one with like a very simple cup. You catch the ball in. You just pull up the ball and catch it in this cup. And then Japan, this was it's over 100 years old. This shape, and this is the Japanese iteration of this toy. So yeah, kendama is a Japanese skill toy, and it's been around yeah for over 100 years.
Yeah, yeah. So let me see if I can have a go at explaining it for those who can't see. So, for all intents and purposes, it's actually a spike that you hold in your hand, and out of that spike, at the bottom of the spike, there's a string, about a 10-inch string, and there's a ball attached to that. The Ken is attached to that, and your job is to hold the spike and flick up the ball so that it lands actually on the spike. Or when you get really complicated, there are two other cups on the side of the spike that
Yeah.
you try and on the underneath of the spike as well.
Yes.
And your job is to try and secure the ball to any part of the
Right. Right.
tama,
Right.
I
Right.
should say. Yeah. Wow.
Dama. That was perfect actually. Dama is perfect. You can call this in slang Dama. Just the whole thing.
Dama, right, right, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So culturally is kendama. Oh, all right. Well, would we call it a Japanese sport, or would we call it a French sport, or a Mexican?
Yes, this is definitely a Japanese sport. This one, I mean, there are origins, yes, from different countries about people doing similar things, right? Like playing with a some sort, putting two things together, connecting with a string, and kind of trying to catch it in the cup, catch it in the spike, things like different iterations. But this shape, this is from Japan. So this is definitely a Japanese skill toy.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So when I think of the game, the ground bowls game in France called boule, or pétanque, as some people call it. In terms of the scale of the sport in Japan, is it at the same level, or is it mass? Does everybody play it in Japan, or is it kind of niched?
Yeah, yeah. So kendama, it's definitely, I would say it's like a secondary sport here. I'm American, so coming from America, it looks like kendama is more of a hobby, right? It's more of something you just play for fun, and you can get really good at it. But no, it's not like we're going to soccer games, right? We're not going to football games and with these things. But with kendama, it's like, okay, it might not be one of those top sports, but everybody knows what it is. It's like the American yo-yo, right? Everybody in America knows what a yo-yo is. But in Japan, everyone knows what a kendama is. So everyone's played it at least once in their life. Maybe it's in their house. Maybe they've played it at daycare, um, and or in school a little bit, maybe in gym class. But people are still going to, the people who really take it seriously are going to competitions all around the country. They're quite frequent, and there's events, there's practice sessions all around the country, almost every week. So in Japan, it's the most popular, I'd say, just among the
Yeah,
whole population. Yeah.
yeah. So that's the upper end of the sport. At grassroots level, do you find people in kendama clubs, or do they play on the corner of the street, or are they in
Yes.
the
Yes.
bars? Where do people play it?
Well, you can definitely find them in the bars or on the streets in different countries. Yeah, America and Europe. You won't see people playing at clubs most often of the time. Maybe you'll see people gathered in a park or something. Maybe in America, Europe. People will definitely bring them to bars. It's fun there for a lot of people. But in Kendama, yeah, people also gather in parks for outdoor practice sessions. But there are also dojos, and dojo you can pretty much kind of. This does not just go for Kendama. There are dojos for different sports as well. But just imagine going to an indoor place with a sensei, with a teacher, just there to teach you, and you just go through a practice routine, like hour and a half, 2 hours, and you just do it with everybody else who's also going to the same dojo. So that you can definitely find a lot of other people, more formal settings practicing together in Japan.
Yeah, so a dojo is a place of gathering where people play sport and other cultural activities. Like you would have a dojo for martial arts, if I'm
Ex-
correct.
Yes, yes. So like judo and other martial arts are practiced in a room or hall, things like that. Yeah,
Yeah, called a dojo. Okay.
yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you were American, and that's where it gets really interesting for me because how does an American end up in Japan as a seven-time world champion kendama player? Give
Yeah.
me your history, your roots, and the origins of your kendama journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am currently 25, like I said, and I actually started playing kendama about 14 years ago. So I was 11, almost 14 years ago now, and that was in America. That is the sixth grade. So I was just in my first year of middle school, and this eighth grader, I was a sixth grader. This eighth grader comes along to my school, brings about the kendama, and kind of starts a wave, a full trend at our school. Everyone gets hooked. I, of course, think it's really stupid for the first 3 months. I'm just thinking, I'm not touching that. That's lame. I do not want to be a part of that. That's kind of dumb, right? But then I go to my friend's house one day and they have the Kendamas. And so I get it on the big cup. So the big cup is the biggest cup on the Kendama, the easiest trick. It's like catching it on a big plate. It's the easiest trick. And I get it on the big cup. And I am hooked, Nikki. I'm just hooked. I'm hooked. Everything I just said about it being dumb, I just forget it right away. I'm like, Mom, I need this right now. So I get it. I'm addicted. And I go home. I ask my mom to get me one. I have an identical twin brother. So my brother and I, Zach, we played it all the way, go through middle school, high school, college, still to this day. But we both get one, and we're just hooked from January 2012 until now. And so that's in America. I grew up in Seattle, Washington, and I was just hooked. You know, the trend that was on fire in 2012, give it 6 months, it dies. And then it's just pretty much me and my brother playing the entire time. And I thought about quitting as well, but I think when you have someone to play with all the time, any second of the day, it can, as long as you guys both love the thing, like, it's so fun to play with other people. So that's why we always had each other. Community might have died, but I was so lucky to have Zach, my brother, because if I didn't have him, I probably would have quit too. You know, you get made fun of if you're not doing the popular thing, right? You get made fun of pretty quick. But we had each other, so that's why we were able to start and keep going. And that's a little bit about how I got into it.
Sorry, just interjecting there for a second. You've given us a little sneak peek into the personality profiling of Nick and his brother Zach.
Yeah.
Are you two guys? Would you describe yourselves as having addictive personalities? Were there other things that you got mad crazy into, and then dropped off at some point, or was this the first one?
Yeah. So prior to this, before we started playing Kendama, we played soccer, and we played that football. But from ages 5 to 17, right? So that was 12 years. But this was really, I played soccer growing up my whole life because it was fun, yes, but I think it was also a way to stay active. I think my passion dropped off from it as the years went on, and I liked it, but yeah, it just wasn't the same. Kendama was really the first thing that I was like, whoa, I'm actually addicted to this. I can't stop playing. I can't stop wanting to progress. I'm all in for this. And so, yeah, I would say this is the first thing that I got into in my life that was just very, very just so committed to. And yes, just to answer your question, definitely have an addictive personality. I tend to zone in on very specific things depending on where I'm at in my life. And once I find something that just attracts my attention and I feel, I guess, fulfillment through a sense of achievement and I get it, I'm just like, okay, I'm going all in on this. And I tend to go crazy. I tend to go full 100% into it. So Kendama was the first thing for that.
Yeah, and does it have to be a sport, or are there other pursuits that you are similarly locked into?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been a couple in my life. For example, studying the language Japanese. I've got into that about coming up on 6 years now. And I got into it through Kendama because, you know, going to Japan for the World Championships, I meet some Japanese Kendama players, and I want to talk to them one day, right? So I decided to start studying that, and I remember dedicating a lot of time to that at my peak studying season of that. And there's been a couple other things as well, trying, you know, like physical, like working out. Been doing that for also about six years now, and I tend to get addicted to those things as well. Different diets, you know, I've tried carnivore, these things like that. So yeah, I've gotten really into stuff for a while. Yeah.
So when you're in, that's it. You're locked in.
I'm locked. I'm Nicky. I'm locked in. I'm 100% locked in.
Yeah. Now going back to Kendama, you mentioned that you were locked in, and you know, a lot of people would be locked into golf or to soccer or whatever it is, and they would play casually. But you also said that you were really interested in getting really good and getting really down to the detail of this in order to progress.
Yeah.
Where did you see yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Where did you see yourself where did you see your expertise in the early stages?
Yeah, yeah. So the first in the beginning, I never really was the best at my school. I was I was decent, but I never was the best. I could always name a couple people that if they just kept playing, they'd always be better than me. And but that's the thing though. It's even if people are ahead of you, I kind of realize this. I never thought of myself as the best when I started, and it wasn't until a couple like several years had gone by until I realized I'd become a top player. But it's because of the enjoyment at the end of the day. I realized I can't like I just simply enjoyed it more than most people. At the end, that's how I got good. Is I yes, I had Zach to play with all the time. That was a huge cheat code by the way, to play with someone all the time. But yeah, it's just Zach, my brother and I both just enjoyed it more than other people around us. So naturally, it's like if I'm putting in more hours than you per day, eventually, if you still play, like the chance of me catching you are pretty high on a higher time horizon. So as long as I'm enjoying it more than you, I've realized that's just kind of the key. It has to be fun. And even, yes, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I wanted to become sponsored by a company. I wanted my own pro model, right? A pro model as in my own Kendama model. I design it, things like that. I wanted to win a competition. These are things are, many goals throughout the year, but when there's nothing around, no competition around, nobody around me to play with, I'm still enjoying it more than most people. So whether or not, I'm just going to outplay you. I'm just going to outplay you in terms of time. And that's why I think
Yeah.
it translated into many different things in my life. It just steamrolled into, oh wait, Nick, you're actually getting more opportunities. You're getting better and better, and before you know it, you're going to the World Championships. So it's just because of enjoyment.
Take me to the day when you won your first competition. Did you have to travel a lot to Kendama competitions in Seattle, or
Oh, the
what's
first
the
Kendama
infrastructure
competition,
like?
the first Kendama competition I ever won. It was actually in Seattle. So there was one. We were really lucky. There was one big one in Seattle for a couple of years when I started playing. It was called Battle in Seattle, and it was weird because it wasn't even hosted in Seattle. So that was honestly, I don't know why they called it that, but it was 2013. At that point, I'm competing in the advanced division. There was like beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then pro. So I'm competing in advanced. I'm 13 years old, and funny enough, in the finals, I compete against my brother. So we're in the finals together, and it's one on one. Pretty much imagine like a set of tricks you both have, and whoever finishes the set of tricks first, like fast, wins. And
Okay.
so my brother and I, there's like a six trick list. We race. Right? We're racing to see who can finish it first, and then whoever wins that wins. And so that was the first competition I ever won. Was that one, and I beat my brother Zach in that, and that was in the advanced category. I thought that, and that was like kind of a moment too. I was like, whoa, I just won a competition. That's insane. It's not. I didn't just beat the people from my school, but I just beat the people who gathered here today for this competition. What I thought was pretty big. A couple hundred people there, and I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. But I was on a beach. I remember it was on a beach. We had the pros watching. Oh man, the pros like had finally started. I say finally started because I was seeking this honestly. I was like, yeah, the pros have finally started to notice me. Like these people
Yeah.
who are way older than me trying to like actually noticing me. Obviously, I thought it was because like, oh, I'm getting good at Kendama, but could have also just been because my haircut was just horrendous. It was just a horrendous haircut I had. You could not miss it. My brother and I had this funny, fluffy yellow mohawk thing going down the middle of our heads, and yeah, it was funny. But yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good.
Are you a left-handed or a right-handed kendama player, or both?
I am lefty. I'm a left-hander. Yeah.
You're a lefty. Now, is that significant?
There aren't many left-handed Kendama players, but and and it's kind of difficult to play. I don't want to say okay. I don't want to say it's difficult to play Kendama with your left hand because I've obviously figured it out. You can do it just fine. But um, I don't know. I don't know about significant. There are definitely like way less lefty players, and I don't know if I've ever seen someone else who's left-handed win a world championship or things like that. But I'd say I like saying that I'm lefty. It's kind of it's pretty cool because yeah, I just think it's nice. Although the left-handed players will look up and be like, oh, it's actually possible to like be good at it even though I'm left-handed and things like that. So yeah,
I'm imagining, as well as the incredible level of skill that you have to become a competent kendama player. there's also a high level of showmanship or showpersonship involved, if I'm picking it up correctly.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's definitely a lot better to be more showmanship, like you said, a little bit in competitions. Especially there's different like categories of competition, right? There's freestyle, which yes, showmanship comes into play there to just hype up the crowd, get everyone excited. That's where I think it comes in the most. For some kids, right? If they're like 11 or 12, maybe they don't got that yet, and they just happen to be really good. But when they do something crazy, they're not like making a big deal out of it. So it's not like the most important thing in the world, but it is super, super helpful because if you want to excite people around you, you got to make it look sick. So
Yeah.
there's definitely something with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It just struck me, am I actually speaking with the GOAT of Kendama here? Are you the greatest of all time?
People, well, I mean, people have definitely told me that.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh, well, I do feel honored now. This is really cool. This is really cool. It was really cool up until this point, but now it's really, really cool. That's
Thanks.
fantastic. Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, so you've won your first competition and you're getting really good. You're getting noticed by the pros. What next? So that was in
Yeah,
2013. So was your goal then World Championships?
yeah, yeah. So back then, I'll give you the quick scoop on my goal being the World Championship. So 2016, I'm just playing for fun, right? I get pretty good. I'm going to local competitions, well, around the U.S. I'm going to American competitions, right? I'm sponsored at this point. My
Were
brother and
you
I
were you
both.
funding all that yourself? Sorry, were you funding
Well,
all that yourself?
well, so the sponsor covers half. Well, so back then they would cover half, and then my mom and dad covered the other half. So I was really blessed to be helped by my mom and dad. And when we'd go to these competitions, yes, the sponsor would get like the hotel or wherever we'd stay and take care of all that. But this is 2016. I go to Japan for the first time. My brother goes for free because he won the national competition in America the year before, and then my sponsor actually pays for my flight. So this is the first time going to Japan. It's amazing, and I practiced super hard just to make it past the first day of the World Championships. There's preliminary day and then there's finals. And then I was like, I just want to get to finals. I don't care what happens in the finals. I just want to practice to get to finals, to the day two. That's all I care about. So I make it to day two. My brother and I both make it to day two. And so we're both just super hyped. Then we go into the final stage on the next day and, like we do our best. I got 12th. I got 12th that year. And at that point, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fun. Like, I didn't practice that much for finals, but I was able to get 12th. Not bad. I was pretty close to top 10. I can do better next year. And 2017 comes around. I'm getting this little streak. At this point, honestly, when I go to this World Championships, people are kind of picking up like, okay, Nick could get like top three, top one, like top five, top one. And so I'm thinking, okay, people are telling me this. All right, I mean, might as well. I'll try my best. So I get past preliminary days easy, and then in finals I get fifth. So I'm just thinking, whoa, okay, I'm gonna take a step back here. I'm actually looking around. I could maybe win this thing. Maybe. I'm getting pretty good. There's potential. And then I knew it. I knew I could do it. And then that's when I started wanting to win the World Championships. I think I started to want to win that going into the next year, 2017 to 2018. And then 2018, I go pro. I get my own pro model, and I just start winning everything. Like everything I go to, I win. I win every like there was it was I won I think 10 competitions in that one year, which was just like at the pro level, which is honestly stupid. I couldn't believe it. I go to 2018 World Championships, and everyone's telling me I'm gonna win. Everybody tells me I'm gonna win at the whole thing. Like no doubt. And I'm just thinking, yeah, I'll do my best. In my head, I'm thinking, yeah, if I do my just normal routine, if I'm able to go up there under the pressure, do my normal routine, no one can beat me. And thankfully, that's what happened. So I just did my normal thing, and uh, yeah, it was I won by a good
That's
amount. Yeah, yeah,
that's incredible. Let's take a step back and talk about a few things. So, when it comes to the skills, the technical skills, what do you have to be really brilliant at to be a pro? So, what are the key skills? And
yeah.
then I want to, and well, I'll come to the next bit in a second.
So Kendama is so precise. I mean, I know I play it. I'm biased, but you seriously, you have to be down. You have to be so accurate to the millimeter for a lot of these tricks nowadays to connect it with two pieces together to make it balance on different parts of the kendama. You can use both different sides. I mean, there are seriously some crazy tricks you can do with this, and I would definitely say if someone is really great at what I've noticed, actually, I'll say this: if you play a sport, if you have experience with playing sports, you tend to be a lot better with your kanama ability, with your hand-eye coordination. So I've noticed, no matter what sport you play, soccer, football, it doesn't really matter. As long as you play a sport, I tend to know these people with hand-eye coordination are succeeding more because this is all about hand-eye coordination, right? This kanama skill toy, and so that's a really big part, hand-eye coordination. And then, man, if I just noticed the best players that can move their bodies really well. No one's like the you can tell someone from a beginner to like an advanced player with their based on the kind of their movements, in my opinion. If you're rigid, if you're kind of just like not flexible or something like that, it might be a little difficult to get into all these positions to get these tricks down. And because you really want to use your knees, you want it's like a full body thing. The more you can use your knees, the better you will be at kendama. 1,000%. It's like a cheat code. If you can use your knees, go and like really squat down and go for it, it's like time slows down and you can see things move so much slower in midair if you use your knees. So I would say hand-eye coordination really big, and then just I guess overall athleticism of the body. Those are two things that I think a lot of great players have, and so yeah, that's why you see a lot of kids who are coming up become really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's again, this is a perception. It's not a, or is it a physically demanding sport?
Yeah,
Rather than a physics. You know, it relies on physics. You know, you talked
right,
about the knees to get some propulsion, I presume, to get the kendama
right,
up.
right. Yeah, I would. At first glance, this is something that anybody can do, no matter what age, no matter where you are. You can do it inside, outside, no matter what age. 80-year-olds can do it. 8-year-olds can do it. Um, doesn't You can connect with people? Doesn't matter what you're male or female. Doesn't matter what country you're from. Anybody can do this. Anybody, literally anybody. I will say though that if you start picking it up, start playing, and you go, let's just say you go for a big session and you're going 3 hours, 4 hours straight using, you have to use your knees. You have to use bend down, go up, bend down, go up. You're doing that for hours. So imagine maybe if you don't play a sport and you're doing this instead, you might feel like a little bit sore after a session for yourself, because it is physically taxing the more and more and more you get into it. So it is that, yeah.
Right. Talk to me about the mental side of the game, because I would imagine that there are huge highs and huge lows. If you like, it's almost like a darts player. You know, if you're on a streak,
Yeah.
you're on a streak. But then the lows are incredibly low, I would imagine. And what mindset techniques do you have to develop to maintain your form throughout the years?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me personally, I've noticed a couple things that really help me, and I'm somebody who has really just put a lot of trust in my practice. There are some people out there who go to a competition and they're like, I'm not going to practice. It makes me feel a little more at ease. Or there's even some people who would be like, yeah, I'll drink a beer before I go up because I just like, I feel so much more relaxed. And I never was like really like that. I always never, and this is in anything I do at this point, but if I don't prepare, I just know in my heart that I could have done more and I don't think I'm performing at my best ability. And so I would always gain my confidence and my mental, um, I guess, calmness on stage from practice. And it's a very simple conversation. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have these amazing techniques to go do right before on stage or what to think about. And for me, I think it's specific to each player, but I've always noticed my success when I had confidence in myself in my practice. It didn't really matter who I was playing, and it didn't really matter who was there at the event. I just knew that if I practiced, let's say every day, and I really showed up every day, most days to practice and did it what I said I was going to do, I knew I was like, I came to the competition feeling ready. and feeling honestly like I did everything I can. And whatever the result is, it'll just teach me how to practice better for next time. And so that's where I gain most of my confidence is in the months leading up to the competition, into the largely up until the months. On the day of, it's more of there's nothing more I can do. All the things have been put into place. It's just time to display. And so I was very, very lucky to have a practice partner with my brother for most of the events I went to. It was definitely motivating to practice with him and to practice with some really good friends as well, to simulate as much of the match as we could in practice. And I think that was part of the thing that really helped. And I'll just say this as well. Once you go in and you get and obviously I think experience plays a part too, right? You want to experience and get used to this competition feeling. The more you can expose yourself to these competition atmospheres, the better you're going to be at it, in my opinion. At least that's what happened for me. And so when I'm going to these competitions after a couple of years of doing these things and really relying on my practice, and you start, this could be specific to me, but I guess it depends on what your division you're in as well. It could be for anybody, actually. I look around and I know I've practiced my part and I know my skill level. It comes back to that confidence, right? So you look around and you really think, okay, is there anybody actually better than me here? Is there anybody that you think that actually has put more practice into me than me? And also that's just, who's actually better than me at these tricks, these specific tricks for the competition? Not many people, or nobody, realistically, right? So you look around and you just assess that. And for me, I've always done that. And I've just thought, why can't I just win this again? Because if I'm the best one here at these tricks, then why would I get nervous? Why would I be nervous to play anybody? Like the chances of beating them are more than the chances of them beating me. So why would I get nervous?
Yeah, and then if you put in the required amount of practice as you've done consistently, well then
Yeah.
it would be unreasonable for you not to win the
Exactly.
match, right?
Exactly. And honestly,
So it's all about mindset.
Yeah. Nick, because there are some people too, right? There's people who practice a ton, and then they just get screwed on the first round. Like because Kendama is it's honestly extremely difficult. Anything can happen in Kendama. The string can mess you up. It depends on the tricks you pull. It depends on who you're facing. Yeah, it's generally super hard. And I'm not going to pretend like I've never lost in the first round. I've lost in the first round a lot of times, and maybe that sometimes I didn't practice, maybe there's that, but sometimes I did practice and, failed first round or second round, but
Yeah.
Kendama is difficult. But I think it's just how you compose yourself up there, that you want to give yourself the best percentage of winning, because nothing's ever guaranteed. You could lose any time to anybody, but the percentage of you winning, you can get it high. You can get it pretty high if you come composed and collected and ready. So that's what I always believe for myself personally.
What about the sponsorship that you mentioned earlier? How easy or difficult is it to attract a sponsor? Who are these sponsors?
Yeah.
And what was it like when you attracted your first piece of sponsorship?
Yeah, I know. It was my first ever sponsorship. Wow, that actually goes back before my main one. Anyway, I think the kid in me, when I was chasing my first sponsorship, I just wanted free Kendamas. My parents were buying me one every month. I would win some from events I'd go to if I did well in the competition, or maybe won a mini game. But I just wanted more Kendamas, because when you're a kid, I think that's all you really want. You just want more Kendamas. And so I got that, and I got my first sponsorship when I was 13. And I just pretty much just trying out for a team. You make a video on YouTube and make an edit, do your best tricks, and if they choose you, they choose you. And then I got a sponsor, and it was pretty cool at first, getting Kendamas from time to time. And I was like, whoa, I don't have to pay for these. This is awesome. My mom and dad love me now because I'm not, using their money every month. And then I kind of realized there's more to it than that, because the people on my team, I felt a little disconnected with. So I actually ended up leaving and then joining this way bigger company. And by the way, I'm going to get to this right now. These are all Kendama companies. These are all just Kendama manufacturers, Kendama brands with their own shape, with their own paint. They're like, yep, we're going to make a team to advertise our products, these things like that, right? So then I ended up joining a bigger company down the line in 2014 called Sweets Kendamas. Sweets Kendamas, it was at the time one of the biggest Kendama brands. They still are one of the biggest Kendama brands, I'd say, right now. But that was kind of like, for me, if you're trying to join a top three, big three team in the world, like for any sport, whatever, that was one of them for me. It was like, oh, Sweets is the big three. I'm going to be part of this big team. And that's when I started really not only experiencing, the free Kendama side of things, but getting around people who I really like and who are really good at Kendama. So they just push me a lot. So that was a really, really big experience for me. Yeah.
What's the community like in the US and across the world? What are good
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, it's different for sure. It's different for sure. In America, when I was growing up, it was like a bunch of kids playing. It was the most popular thing in many states. But now, 10 years later, over a decade later, right? There's almost no kids playing in America. There's almost none playing, and it's more of like an adult hobby now. It's more of an adult hobby. You go to American events, European events especially, only adults. 90% of adults, 10% kids, and
And is
it's
that because
interesting.
social media has taken over?
Um, I'm not very sure. I think for most places, really, a trend comes, right? Kendama as a trend comes in. Maybe the kids get into it. It's like a fidget spinner, right? It's a fidget spinner, yo-yo. It comes in 6 months in, maybe, and then it just fizzles out and it dies. And then people, they start growing up and they're like, oh, I remember when I used to play that thing back in the day when I was a kid. And then maybe it never moves on from that. But then there's always just like this core group of people who stick on and they become adults, or maybe they start when they're adults and they're just trying to find a hobby or something like that. And I think that's why we see more adults now in America and especially Europe. Europe is 1,000% like a bunch of adults. There's I'd say everyone all around people in Kendama are they're very nice. It's a very welcoming community. It's very friendly. People definitely say that when they're connected with skate too. The skate community, they compare it to skate community or other communities, and they're like, wow, Kendama is very friendly. We're all very welcoming. Encouraging beginners, encouraging pros, very encouraging. So I think that's a good part about Kendama, is that it's very encouraging to one another. And I think in Japan though, this is when, yeah, it's of course same, right, encouraging, friendly, but it's very, very, a lot of kids, a lot of adults, a lot of families playing together. Imagine me, my brother, and then my mom and dad playing as a family all the time. I can't imagine that
Lovely.
because I can't imagine that. But in Japan, for years straight, these kids are playing with their mom and dad, and their mom and dad are getting into it. They're actually going to the world championships with them, competing, and they're actually taking it serious. So that's where I'm just like, whoa, this is different. This is different. This is crazy. So I really like that about Japan, is that their whole family gets into it. It's incredible. Yeah.
So you've won your first of 7 world championships.
Yeah.
You're speaking Japanese. You're
Yep.
traveling back and forth every year.
Yeah.
Are you falling in love with Japan and Japanese people at this stage?
Yeah, I would say so. This is actually perfect. Actually, the first after I win my first world championship, that's actually when I first start thinking about, I like this place, right? I like this place. I want to talk to more people. I want to talk to some friends here. Kanama is a great tool. It's a great communication tool. You don't need to speak each other's language to have fun and play with each other. But, it would be more fun if I could talk to you guys, right? So, so I go back home from Japan that year. I start, studying Japanese on these apps, Duolingo, Lingo Deer, these apps that you use on your phone. And I entered my first year of university here at the University of Washington. That's also in Seattle, and I just sign up on one of the first days for a study abroad in Japan, like half-heartedly. I'm just like, this would be cool. I'm gonna sign up, and just like, oh, I'll sign up there. There it is, and then I forget about it. And then I think about a month later, they're like, "Oh, Nick, you're in the program. You can go to Japan if you want." And I just thought, "Whoa, okay, I could." I'm not gonna lie, I was secretly hoping for this, but we'll see if this happens. And so I talked to my mom and dad about it, and so thankful for them because they just support me in everything I do, everything I've done in my life. They just have supported me so much. So they're like, yeah, you definitely go to Japan for study abroad. And so in 2019, March 2019, I go to Japan for the first time for 4 months. And at that point, I'm like, okay, if I enjoy this study abroad, then I will try to move here in the future. I want to try and move here in Japan if I enjoy this. Of course, I enjoyed it because I'm the world champion of Kendama at that point. I have the entire country being like, "Oh my gosh, Nick's here!" Oh, we got to do stuff, and I'm traveling like every week to go to these events and meet these people. Yeah, of course I love it. Kendama amplified my study abroad experience by 100x. It just was just so not normal. I was going to different countries in Asia, Korea, China, and going across Japan for free. People are flying me out to these things. I'm like, dude, I love this place.
Wow.
So I fall in love with Japan there. And so at that point, I'm like, yeah, after I finished school, I'm going to go here one day. And so that's where I got my interest. And yeah, of course, I was more interested in Japanese people at this point too. Yeah.
Yeah. And are the TV stations, radio stations looking to talk to you, all that stuff? Like you're a proper hero over there.
Well, yeah, I've actually back then, yes, even when I wasn't working here, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I was definitely on my fair share of newspaper or TV, and even back then as well. But I started actually going on TV a bunch, like a lot, when I actually moved here because I graduated university and I actually did get a chance to move to Japan and work here. It was for PR. It was just promoting the city, revitalization services. Like, hey, bring more people to the city. It's called Nagai, and we're going to do that through Kendama because in Nagai there's the biggest Kendama manufacturer, one of the most famous ones, honestly, that I actually bought my first Kendama from when I started playing. It was from this manufacturer. So for me, this was a pretty big deal. Like 5 minutes away from my house, the whole company. But I'm like, okay, whoa, I'm gonna go here and work at this place, this Kendama shop that they have, and also do work for the city. And yeah, this is gonna be my dream job. And so it just fell into my lap because the mayor of that city just reached out to me and was like, hey, can you work here when you finish school? And I was like, hey, yeah, like I'll do that. That's kind of insane that this kind of just came up for me. But I moved there and I started going on TV all the time and newspapers all the time. And they really milk that. They really milk the world champion. This guy's world champion. This guy's one of the best. And they really milk that. So I think that was good for TV, right? It's good for TV to be like, whoa. So that was where I got my first start, mostly on programs there, yeah.
Yeah, so you ended up winning 7 world championships altogether. Like that's an incredible feat. Have there been any low points in that journey since 2019? And if there were, how did you handle them?
Yeah. Yeah, so at this point, so these 7 world titles I win, yeah, it's in Japan as well. In the Kendama world, the world titles there's a couple different ones you can win. There's a couple ones that are big in the U.S., big national competition, U.S., Europe, and a couple other ones, but I win 7 of those, right? And I think by, going into 2020, until 2023, I was pretty much just all about trying to get better, push myself, and as a Kendama player, 11 years deep, I'm trying to continue to improve, continue to win, because it's fun. But I'd say one of my lowest points, if this counts, is when I just started realizing I wanted something more with my life, and I did not know how to describe that back then. But I started losing this competitive drive, or I would say rather than that, this want to do something else more with my life. Like, what else can I achieve? If I've gone this far with Kendama, what else can I do? And so in 2023, I get this weird feeling. I remember filming myself one day on the clock, at work on the clock. I went to this park and just started filming myself Kendama, and I realized I just started saying out loud, why is this so boring? Why am I not having any fun? I look around, it's sunny. I'm playing Kendama in Japan. I'm getting paid to play. I'm just thinking, dude, what is so boring about this? Why am I not having fun right now? And I'm genuinely confused. And so, long story short, I end up realizing this is not the end-all be-all of my life, working here in Japan and promoting it like this. And so I end up quitting my job. I end up quitting a month after I took that video. I ended up quitting my job. And I move, and I realize, okay, whoa, I need to pursue something else. And this low point that's coming, by the way, is when I realize this identity was shifting in me. People knew me as this big champion, and this guy who was like, whoa, he's still really good. He's really good at Kendama. 13 years in now, he's one of the greatest, and things like that. People just come to visit me and be like, yeah, this guy's awesome. But then when I knew in my heart that I wasn't trying to be that anymore, it felt like I felt like a different. I felt like a lie. It felt like a lie, and I felt as if without this champion identity, who am I? Am I nothing? I just was thinking, am I nothing? You know, if I'm not this, are people even going to care about me? And so that's definitely when I struggled the most. It was a very weird time for me. Like a 6 months period when I said I was going to quit my job, and then until I quit it, actually at like a different time in the year. It's just this weird period, this weird flow in my life where I was thinking I want to do something else, but I'm not confident because I'm a beginner again. And also, people are in Kendama. I might be this champion, but I don't even care. I'm not trying to play like that anymore. So that was a weird point for me in my life, shifting identities because I thought without Kendama I'm nothing. What am I gonna do? You know. So that was a big low point for me. Yeah.
And what did you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Good question. So after I quit my job, I went back to the States and I went to Florida. I moved to Florida with my brother. My brother was in Florida at this time. He also, we're honestly, I can just say we for a lot of this. I should, because we're just on this journey together at this point. My brother never came to Japan with me to work, but, he had the same drive in Kendama up until 2023 as well. And then he realized he also just felt like he wanted to do more with his life. And we didn't really know what we wanted to do by then. But we just kind of took a leap of faith and we honestly just started to invest in ourselves in any way we thought we possibly could through athletics and things like that. Join a community who liked athletics, and we thought, whoa, okay, this is fun. This is fun. This is like kind of around the people I want to be around. I'm around the people I want to be around, yeah. And anyways, business comes into the equation. These people I'm around are entrepreneurs in this online space. I'm just thinking, what if I could? What if I could do something with my life and like that? Because it sounds like me. I feel like this calling, like this genuinely this whisper, this urge in my body, just to tell me to do more with my life. Do something, Nick. If this is forever, this is not going to be your fulfilled life. And so, my brother and I moved to Florida, and we start our own business, and we start Kendama, a Kendama business, but not a manufacturing company. We kind of just started. We say one business. It was called Gallagher Kendama, and then we switched it to How to Kendama. But we did so many things. We did online coaching. We did in-person events. We hosted 4 in-person events. We did online community through school. Yeah, we did. We did a bunch. We even hosted a Kendama Premier League. It was like a competitive league for pros only, and you had to pay to play, and you get big cash prizes. We did so much in a span of like a year and a couple months, and so we tried that, and we overall realized this is super great, really aligned with the purpose that I want to serve, but it's a charity. It's honestly a charity because we're losing all of our money doing this. We're losing all of it. So we get down to our last. I'll be transparent. I get down to my last 2.5K, and I'm just realizing, in 2 months, 2 to 3 months, I'm gonna be working at Walmart down the street, and because I have to. And in my head, I was thinking, end all be all. I still have I'm blessed. I'm blessed to I'll do anything I can to keep pursuing this, but. Then I thought, my brother and I were just like, we gotta get our crap together. We gotta get our stuff together because I don't want to lose my money. I don't want to go broke and just like lose everything and not be able to provide for the Kendama community or not be able to do the things I want. And so I kind of just had this realization, we need to stop this and lock in a different way. Just try something new, or else we might put ourselves in a bad position. Okay.
But by the way, just before you go to the next part. Had you become wealthy playing Kendama? Do you get paid? Is the prize money good?
So the prize money's It's okay. It's okay. I'll say it's okay. Some people would say it's great, but I mean, you win a competition like at the nationals, and it depends on the year. Kendama in the economy, it goes up and down, right? It's popular some years, it's popular and it's not. You get like $1,000 if you win, maybe 1,500. Maybe if other sponsors come in, you win more than that. That's if you win on the nationals or the world championships at the highest level. If you win the world championships, you might win, yeah, 3.5K. So that's at the grand scheme of things. If you compare it to other sports, that's nothing. That's if you win a world championship, it's like, come on. I will just say though, I was very, very blessed to win the world championship when I did, because when I did, it was crowdfunded and the cash prizes were
Right.
insane. So when I won that, I got 13.5K, which was big for me when I was an 18-year-old. Obviously after tax, you lose a couple thousand. So I think I
Yeah,
walked away
yeah.
with like 11, but
That's amazing. What was your brother winning competitions as well? Did he ever win a world championship?
so he actually has won a world level competition before I did. In 2015, he actually won the nationals for the U.S. Um, and that was just nuts because he was. It's amazing because he was. It's not like he was the best person there, but he was the best over those 2 3 days. He just was better. He just ended up winning and beating people so much better than, like, quote unquote, yeah, better than him, yes, but he was just dialed in on those tricks for that day, and he ends up winning. And I'm just thinking, bro, he just did something that we've always dreamed of. It's possible. Wow. And so he wins that. He also wins something in 2023. He wins a big, big national competition, the biggest one now in the U.S. And yeah, he's won a couple himself for sure. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
So you're
So
reaching the epiphany stage now where you knew there was something more, you knew you
yeah,
had to do something, or else you're going to be packing shelves in Walmart. What
yeah,
did you do?
yeah. So yeah, like I said, I quit my job in Japan. I go back to Florida. This is 2024 at this point. And so really just a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, I go to Florida and I try this business with my brother, Gallagher Kendama. This is our last name, Gallagher Kendama. It's great. It's like a charity though. We almost lose all of our money. And then I'm just thinking, I got to do something or else I'm screwed. And so my brother goes a different direction. I pursue. I'm like, wow. The only thing I know I'm insanely good at is Kendama, and also I'm good at Japanese. And also I know that if there is anybody to pay for coaching services, it's gonna be these kids in Japan. They take it the most seriously, and their parents want to do anything for their kids to get them better at the thing they love to do, like any parent would, right? You want to support your kids and invest in your kids. So I think of this, and I didn't actually think that deep about it, but at the time I was just like, I gotta Hail Mary this. I gotta Hail Mary this. So I, long story short, I get on the school. I find a group called Synthesizer, and I go through their playbook. Really, they have this thing called the roadmap, and they're like, "Yeah, he's here to make money doing what you love." And I was like, "Sounds great to me. I love Kendama. I want to make some money through it. That makes sense that I can actually profit from." Um, so I just follow the roadmap on how they do it, and I actually get my first client in about a month. In about a month of trying, I'm getting on all these calls with people in Japan. There's time differences. I'm waking up early just to network with them, pick their brain, provide free value. I'm like, oh, free value? Okay, whatever that is, I'm gonna check that off because I'm just following this roadmap, right? That I found in this school group called Synthesizer. And then eventually, after a bunch of calls, I'm talking 20, 25, 30 calls, I start pitching an offer. And I'm just like, this is uncomfortable for me. This is uncomfortable. It's not like I've never done it before because I sold coaching services for Americans, Europeans, but in Japan, I'd never done that. I was like, am I really about to do this all in my second language? Like, okay, I guess I'll just try. And then in a matter of a week, through like 8 sales calls, I I sell 5 people. And I make my first no, see it was almost as if I was looking at it, I'm like, do people it's such a funny thought because I'm just thinking, do people actually struggle with this? How do people are people actually getting said no? Like, do people actually say no? Because people aren't saying no to me, and that's when I first realized, oh yeah, I'm Nick Gallagher. in the Kendama world.
Right.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
I forgot. I'm Nick Gallagher. Yeah, yeah. People would do this. People would take golf lessons from Tiger Woods. And I know that sounds very
Yes.
conceited to say for myself, but that's generally just how it is. Like, and if you're comparing it to a different sport, of course you would take lessons from Tiger Woods, right? So, of course, yes, I got no's and stuff like that because this is just an offer I threw together. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to make it better. Didn't know how to do anything like that. But I was just like, yeah, I'll coach you for 6 weeks with this X amount of meetings per week for this much money. Okay, deal. Let's do it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna send the payment link
Really? Yeah.
now. I was like, okay, here you go. Did you get it? They're like, yeah. Did you get it? I just paid. I was like, let me refresh that. Oh my gosh, they actually paid. Yeah, no, I got it. I got it. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Yeah, let's do the first meeting next week. I don't really know. Let's check the calendars. I'll get back to you later. See ya. I get off the call. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? So I make my first 5K online going through that. And I'm just thinking, okay, I can breathe. I've got money enough to, to last throughout my lease in Florida. Oh, I'm fine. I'm free. I'm free for a little bit. Okay. Whew. And then, because at that point, I still hadn't realized I could actually do this. It was more like, oh, guys, I got my first couple clients. I'm saved. I can actually start thinking about different things. I just got my quick money. Quick, I can survive a little bit. But then I realized, whoa, hold on. What if I actually went all in on this? What if I actually took this seriously and was like, I'll become a Kendama coach for Japanese players. Not just for anybody, but for Japanese players that are really into this and want to become better and treat it as a sport. And I thought, this took me literally 6 weeks of coaching these people to realize I could probably do this. And I'm just thinking, okay, screw it. May comes around, 2025. We're in 2025 at this point, by the way. And I signed my first couple clients in March this year. And then 6 weeks go by, April, May. And the beginning of May, I'm just thinking, screw it. I'm going all in. I'm going all in. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. If I can sell it's not like I was thinking, there's no way I found the only 5 people in Japan that would take my money, right? There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way I found these only 5 people. I'm just going to do it again. I'm just going to try again. And in May, I get 2 more clients. And I'm just thinking, it's happening. It's happening again. 2 more clients. Whoa, that's awesome. Well, these 5 people that I just did their 6 weeks ended. Wait, you guys want to continue? Wait, you guys want to continue working? All right, we'll just do a monthly thing. We just do that, I guess. I didn't know what I was doing, but they were like, sure, we'll do that. And then I'm coaching more and more people per month, and I'm just thinking, whoa. I'm actually doing this I wake up and I actually just do this as my job. There's no way I'm actually doing this right now because I have nothing else. And so leading up to May, that's the story. I get my first 7 clients, go to June, go to July. We can talk about that in a second, but that was my first 7 clients, my first belief, like I'm actually committing to this. I'm going all in as a Kendama coach. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! This is a whirlwind, and it would be remiss of us now, Nick, not to talk about the love life. So this is all going on. This is all going on as well, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, Nikki. Yeah, there is. So this is big too, because oh man, a lot of things have happened. But I told you I worked in Japan first year out of college.
Yeah.
Out of university. I graduate, go to Japan. In the first 5 months, I meet a girl there, and I actually text her for 2 months, Nikki. I never even met her in person. The only reason I found her was because she also was involved with a Kendama thing that I went to. So she had played Kendama in her life. I wouldn't call her a full player because she doesn't take it seriously like that, but she was involved in a Kendama club in her university. So, long story short, we all get invited to this TV program. It's like the Super Bowl of Japan. It's like that's how many people watch it. The whole country watches it. It's at the end of the year. They count down to New Year's, and we go on a TV program that they air on that day, and it's like a Kendama challenge. It's like how many people in a row can land big cup, the easiest trick on a Kendama, without missing. And so we go for the world record. It's like 126 or 24. We get it. We celebrate. Yay. It took like 3 days of practicing, by the way, to sync up with like a song and things like that. She's there. She's there anyway. She's there at this event. I didn't see her the entire time. I cannot believe I did not see her because I go home after this whole event's over. I watch the recording, and she just so happens to be in one of the only spots in the recording where you can actually see the person for longer than 1 second. And she's just in behind the main dude, just perfectly visible on the TV. And I'm just thinking, I'm just like, wait, who's that? Who's that? Why? How did I? Were you there the whole time? How did I miss you? So I go on Instagram for about an hour, just searching for her profile, and I finally find it, and I message her. I'm just thinking, hey, good job at this event. Congrats. We did it. World record. Yay. Whatever. I just said whatever, right? And then I'm like, hey, by the next time I come to Tokyo, I'd love to play Kendama together. Would you be interested in doing something like that? And at this point, I'm like, oh yeah, I've got this in the bag. Yeah. I'm not, of course, like she has to know me. Like she's like, I'm Nick Gallagher. Like she's got to know me. Little did I know I was talking to someone who did not know anything about Kendama. She knew nothing. She was only in this Kendama club at her university, and she just played for fun. She literally did not know anything about it at all, mostly. And she's like, oh, this guy messaged me. Apparently, he's like the world champion. That's what we heard at the event. Yeah, anyway. Cool. Thanks for the message. Yeah, let's, when do you come back? Yeah, I don't really play much Kendama, but, we could maybe hang out for a little bit. And I was like, yeah, cool. So long story short, we do that texting for 2 months. I want to just meet her. I get an opportunity to go back to Tokyo, and we actually just start dating after those 3 days we spend together there. My first girlfriend, by the way. Never dated anybody in my life. And I was just like, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to try this. I'm just going to try it. I like this girl. She seems pretty nice. What could go wrong? I just think it's fun. And I've never had a girlfriend. Let's see how it goes. And great first 6 months. 6 months are amazing. Obviously, we're always long distance because I live a couple hours away. But we meet once a month at least, and it's great. It's great. She's very supportive. And then I tell her, right, I tell her I'm going to quit my job. I tell her I do all this. That's terrible news for her. It's terrible. And through that, we'll just save you all the time. I go through a bunch of roller coaster of emotions. I quit my job. I moved back to America. I tell her, by the way, hey, I don't know when I'm coming back to Japan, but I'll come back someday and I'll figure something out in America. How crazy is that for that some person to be like, yeah, all good. Sounds good. See ya. What the heck? Actually, what? Hey, see you later. Just wait for me. What? You have to be a little crazy. You have to be crazy to say that and kind of commit to do something like that. But you also have to be, the partner also has to be a little crazy to trust you, right? You have to have this connection. And thankfully, she has supported me all the way, even in times where honestly, I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve the support. She just wanted to be there for me. And through all thick and thin, we finished that 1.5 years separated together, like separated in America and Japan. So at this point, we've been dating for 2.5 years. It's 2025 September, so 2 months ago. We go through 2.5 years of just full long distance. Once in Japan and then fully separated in America and Japan. I finally come back. I make it back. I make it back to Japan. I made it back, and I'm freaking stoked. You know why? It's because I pursue this Kendama coaching thing. And I'm just like, screw it. I'm committing. The only way to do this better is to move back to Japan, so there's no more time zone differences. I can coach people in person. I'm going all in. And as a bonus, yeah, I can be with my girlfriend again. Of course, that's amazing because we just wanted to be together. So I make it back, and we move in. We move into our place here now, our apartment near Tokyo, and we're married. We get married on the day. I come back. We get married on the day. I come back. I literally get off the plane, and we think, and obviously, right, I've got my thoughts going into this. I'm just thinking, is this right? Do I marry? Like, is this right? Is this a good timing right now? And I just thought, you know what? I've heard a lot of different stories about what the normal timing is or what a normal relationship is. But you know what I thought? Our relationship has never been normal. I'm American. I speak English. Well, my culture is American. I grew up speaking English. I grew up in Seattle. She grew up in Japan. She's full Japanese. She doesn't speak English as her first language. We communicate all in Japanese. And now we're long distance. First long distance Japan, couple hours away, and then I moved to a different country. Our relationship has never been normal. So we look back, and I realize if we can get through 2.5 years of that, it was not easy. There were some times, of course, where I thought ending it would be a lot easier, would save me a lot of pain, a lot of stress. A lot of times I thought maybe we should just end it. It would just be better for both of us. No, we stuck it through and we made it back to Japan. And I just thought if we can do that, we can do anything. We can do anything. And so I thought, yes, we can. I want to get married. So we do that. I get off the plane in Japan, September 8th. I go right from the airport to the city hall. And at the city hall, we put it in tape. We turn the paperwork and we're like, we're going to get married now. And they're like, okay, we'll get back to you tomorrow to see if it actually checks out. And yeah, we just got married on paper. Straight up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. That is great. That is really great.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what you find. Go back to the Kendama now, because you're now a full-time coach in Japan. What have you learned about people from teaching other people? What have you learned in terms of helping them to master something that's so exacting, so precision?
Yeah. So, a couple things. Number one, one of the best parts about being a coach is not telling what people, like what to tell them what to do, but what to not do. And I've realized that through telling them what not to do, it just helps give them so much clarity on where they can actually put their efforts. Like, oh, we don't have to worry about that? Okay, good. Oh, we don't have to worry about this? Okay, good. Now my only tasks are this and this. Oh, it's great. And simplifying the process, right? Simplifying the road to their goals that's just been one of the most amazing parts about it is like, whoa, instead of overwhelming them with a bunch of these secret techniques or whatever, it's very simple. The simplicity is always the thing that I've noticed, especially in my time coaching Kendama, that just gets the person from point A to point B the fastest. And it's so simple, but yet because I'm at this level, I can oversee all their next steps and they can't see it themselves because they're at the bottom level, right? And so that's one thing I've noticed that's very fascinating. People tend to do a lot better when the steps are super, super concrete, super simple. Second thing I've noticed about people is one kind of training method, one coaching method, one practice method does not work for everybody, but one thing that is for certain is that nobody will do it if it is not fun. And that goes back to what I was saying about how I got good at Kendama too. It was more about the enjoyment more than anything. And before I knew it, I was getting really good. And so for these people, it's like, okay, yes, I want to get you to this point score. I want you to get to this point total because we're training for the Kendama World Championships. I forgot to mention that. My whole business up until this point has been training for the Kendama World Championships, which is in 2 weeks. And so, yes, I want to get you to this point total, but it's like, how can I have you enjoy this Kendama so much to the point where you actually just reach it? How do you?
And you're teaching the pros, right?
So I don't just teach pros. I teach more like all different kinds of skill levels. The one I guess person I won't work with is if you're a complete beginner. You definitely have to have some level of foundation. If you're gonna pay and commit to a coaching, something like that. I found that people who are more intermediate, more advanced, they're obviously more dedicated to the game. They've spent more time, they've put more time into it. They're ready to put more time into it, right? So I've been coaching intermediate players all the way up to pro level. And it's the same thing for all of them. I thought it would be different, but it's really the same. It's like, how can you make the process so simple and enjoyable to the point where they just have fun progressing, and as a byproduct, they get the results, the point total that they want? How can I make the road so simple, so not confusing, and so fun for them? That's just been the main thing. So that's what I've noticed.
Do you get frustrated? Do you get frustrated when they're not as good as you?
So, well, when they're not as good as me, I know that 99% of people I'm going to coach, they're probably not going to be as good as me right now, right now. That's just the reality situation. There's one person that I'm helping right now that is better than me. And, he has really big goals of winning the world championships. There's one person, but there's not many people in the world right now who are better than me. But that's besides the point, because you asked if I was frustrated. Not for that reason, but I have gotten frustrated before when I thought, oh my gosh, I have to teach this low of a level. Like I have to teach this person this. Oh, it would be so much easier if you just already knew how to do this so we could do something else. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. But then because at first I was thinking, yeah, I'll never want to work with these low level people. Like, they have to be at this certain skill level. But I had to chop all that off. I was thinking, no, no. Yes, I've got ideal clients. Yes, I've got ideal people. But I realized through the process that it actually doesn't matter about skill to a certain point. Obviously, I want them to not be beginner. I want them to be intermediate advanced. But once they're there, that does not matter. It does not matter what I help them with. The only thing that matters is if they are actually committed. If they're committed to getting better, if they take it seriously and they enjoy it and they actually put time into Kendama every single day. I have really been, that was just such an eye opener to me because once I started coaching this one kid who was at a pretty low point total, he was intermediate at the time. I was thinking, okay, like I can, this guy invested, he paid me to coach him. I'm grateful. I'm going to learn a lot through this. It's not going to be the most fun, but I can do it. I can put up with it. This kid has transformed in the past 3 months into a completely different person because he enjoys it more than anybody I've actually ever coached. This kid is a freak of nature and he's 8 years old. He is without just not the same. He is not the same as he used to be. And it is only because he loves it and he puts in the time every single day and he communicates with me every single day. Obviously, it's his mom. He's 8. His mom's communicating with me every day. But if you communicate with me every day, you show me that you're ready to show up and you're enjoying the stuff I teach you, you're enjoying the work, these are the people I want to work with. It's about the compassion.
Yeah, I want to go back to the purpose that you talked about losing in 2023, I think it was, and
Yeah.
is this how you have refound your purpose now, and you're way off on a new wave now? Is that right?
Yeah, no, this is 1000% where that hole was, and now it's filling the void. It's 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 been a weird transition just because everybody always knew me as this big competitor and this big person who's competing at all these events. And in 2024, I still competed in some things. I went to the European Kendama Championships that year, and I was still doing well. I got second there, and I'm going to this China Kendama Open. I win that. I'm still winning these events, but then I stopped competing, and then people are like, Nick, what are you doing? Why aren't you competing? That's so not like you. But I had to tell them, it's like it's not where I don't find any more fulfillment in that. And people would just tell me, yeah, well, maybe because you've already won like 30 times, like, and that's easy for you to say. But I'm just like, okay, yeah, maybe there is something there. But I think more than that, it's more of like what's the next step? What else can I do beyond this? Like, what's going to have more impact? Is winning another competition going to have more impact on Kendama, or is teaching the next generation, sharing my knowledge, what's going to have the most impact? This is going to have the most impact, this coaching. And I thought, this is where my passion is. This is where the hole is filled. This is where that void is just filled. And I have found definitely my passion in teaching people like this right now. It's been so enjoyable for me.
Yeah. Wow. Real quick, you don't need to win any more world championships, do you?
No, I don't think personally, no. No.
Okay. And from a business model point of view, presumably you scale your business now with a cohort model where you teach more than one person at the same time?
I did have thoughts about that up until this point, though. It's all been one-on-one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I do plan on doing that though in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect there may be some more changes and twists and turns in the life of Nick Gallagher, but for the moment, it's Japan, it's Kendama, it's Married Bliss, it's all going pretty good at the moment, right?
It is. It's definitely. I just have to remind myself, like, this is exactly what I dreamed of 5 years ago, 6 years ago, even a couple years ago, even a year ago today. This was my dream scenario. I have to remind myself, like, hey, you're living the life you really always dreamed of. And despite, like, I can make up a bunch of problems of, like, what's the next step? Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? No. Like, usually I just have trust. I have faith. And I just have to remember, like, yes, I'm already living the life I wanted. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing my best. And I'm blessed to have people around me that are also pursuing their own purposes and their paths, their entrepreneurial endeavors. I'm in a group with that as well. So, yeah, it's a blessing. It's going good now.
Yeah, what is the final word for anybody? I want to step out of kendama for a second and broaden this out to any sport, any endeavor, any pastime, anything, any job that somebody is into and they want to become great. They want to become a goat. What is your number one piece of advice?
Oh man. So I'll say this. If you want to become a goat, if you really actually want to become just absolutely incredible at whatever you're doing, first off, I don't know if you know, you might not know what that is, but if you really thoroughly enjoy something, that's number one. That's the first step. You have to enjoy it. You generally just have to love it, and you have to feel kind of drawn to it. That's step number one. It's got to be something you love to do. Then number two, this is the cheat code here. If you want to get really good, it's all about who you surround yourself with, and if you can learn from someone ahead of you. That's just honestly, that's all I'll say. That's like, if I had to keep it simple, it's like you gotta have the love for it. You gotta have this weird attraction to it where you're like thinking around other people. Why aren't you doing what I'm doing? Like, how are you not obsessed with this like I am? That you have to be that. You have to just be like looking at other people like, how are you not like me? That's what I used to think about Kendama. How do you not enjoy this? And then two, it's like, how often can you spend your time around other people as dedicated as you, who have the passion like you, but more so than that, if possible, how much time can you spend around people who are in the place you want to be in, who are 2 steps ahead of you, 3 steps ahead of you, 4 steps ahead of you? You know, where can you find and put yourself in situations where you're being pushed like that? That is the cheat code. If you can just even get yourself in vicinity of other people ahead of you, that's more than enough to get you, to propel you to whatever goal you have. Just being in their presence. I promise you, that's exactly what happened to me. I would expose myself to people just as good as me or better than me a lot. And then before I knew it, I was on the opposite end of the spectrum, and now I'm teaching people to do the same thing.
Well, Nick Gallagher, it's been great. Who would have thunk that we'd be able to talk about Kendama for an hour and 17 minutes and not wanting the discussion to end? It's been really fun and really enjoyable. My cheeks are hurting because I've been smiling for the last hour and 20 minutes. Because I'm getting to know about a new sport which I've never heard of before, and B, your story is completely inspiring and it's so much fun. And it was less of a Kendama discussion than it was a lesson in mindset, in resilience, in dedication, in passion, in getting to the tiniest detail, those 1 millimeters that you talked about earlier on, to become the best in your field. So it's been really great catching up with you.
Thank you so much, Nick. Yeah, I could tell, you could probably tell I had a lot of fun talking about Kendama. It's one of my most favorite topics, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on here. I definitely learned some things too, just even explaining some stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that is why I like this. That is what helped me. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope it helps other people pursue their passions as well. Absolutely.
Real quick, it sounds, I've heard, I can see the Kendama, of course, and I know that it's quite a kinesthetic thing. It's a touchy-feely thing as well, but is there a specific type of wood that's better than other materials?
Yes. Yes. There are so many different types of wood that people use, but as you can see, these are different colors, but they're also different wood. This is beech. This Ken part is beech, and this is maple. And so This is such it's so funny that you asked that question, but yeah, the best in my opinion is if this is maple, this sword part of the kendama. If this is maple and the tama, the ball, this is soft and it's beech. It's beech.
Right. Gotcha.
This is the best combination.
Yeah, that makes it easy for the two to join. I'm with you totally. I'm
Also.
I don't want to get into it now, but I think there's a bit of a magnetic thing going on with the different types of wood as well, I would imagine.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah. Hey Nick, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about Kendama, or even if they wanted to get some coaching? How do they get in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am on a couple different platforms, but you can find me on all of them through the handle Nick Gallagher 42. I'm on Instagram. I'm on School. I'm on, I'm on Facebook as well, Nick Gallagher. I'm also on YouTube. You look up Nick Gallagher 42. I think I come up. I'll have to maybe switch that, but yeah, my best thing if you want to reach out to me is Instagram, Nick Gallagher 42. That's where you'll find me.
Great. Well, it's been my pleasure chatting. My very first discussion with a real live goat, and it's been great, Nick. So, listen, thanks for joining us on the show. It's been wonderful. I'm going to hit the stop button, and I'll see you on the other side for a second. Okay.
Yep. Thank you guys.